Hi everyone, Susie here from Minnesota, and I garden in a zone 4B, and I'm taking you on a tour of all my gardens and maybe some containers too. It's the beginning of August, and they're doing wonderfully. We've had about 3 inches of rain in the last few days, and the temps have dropped. Right now it feels a little humid. Yesterday was absolutely beautiful. They just look amazing. This one is really filled out. Gets a little more shade, so dragon wing begonias absolutely love it. I'm loving the caladiums this year. They've been my favorite. Very low maintenance. The Bobo Hydrangeas are blooming. This one, unfortunately, when I went to water this container, my hose came and snapped this portion off, which had a bunch of blooms on it, or buds. So that was my fault. These, I'm not surprised that's less just because it's got the competition with that shrub. And then this one was struggling last year. They're filling out nicely. So I'm just happy that I'm seeing some buds on it. I'm thinking next year will be a bit better because these look pretty good. And they're all Bobos. And I knew planting them in this area, they weren't going to get as much sun as what they need to really fill out. But I'm okay with the blooms that I am getting. They get the intense afternoon sun from about noon until 5. And then that's about it. But I think I'm happy with the way they look. Because with being in a zone 4B, I don't have many options for shrubs in shade. Especially later blooming. So this is offering some color in this area. And I love it. And then the Palace Purple Heuchera is putting out all kinds of blooms. Not anything major, but I still love that airiness it gives to this. As if you can see, maybe not, oops, bother that bird. So I love that. But I also like the Palace Purple Heuchera. I have to say it's one of my favorites. It may be a very ordinary heuchera, but it is one of the strongest growing ones I've ever grown, and from seed. The Pulmonium Jacob's Ladder, I did come in, cut off the blooms. I left some of the foliage, and then I'm getting some more blooms on here. That rain has just did wonders for everything. I cleaned up the Alchemilla mollis down here, which it's pushing out some new growth, and that's just due to the rain we had. Otherwise it was looking pretty tough. Far away it looks really good, but up close you can kind of see what the drought has done. And then the Sun King Aralias, they just don't stop, and they just keep pushing out this new growth. Love it. This is one of my favorite areas. I know the black lace elderberry back here, it's pretty wide here, so I'm loving it, and it's kind of shooting off and back. Next year I'm hoping that I get some growth on the old wood, that way it gets a little bit taller. Cool as a cucumber hostas are looking fantastic. This one is the best. Pretty impressed considering I planted this last year, late in the season. I just love the caladiums. I think in these containers I have, they're pretty wide. I would say about maybe 8 or 9. I've really packed them in there because honestly when I planted them, I wasn't sure what the season was going to be like, because until the middle of June we were cold. And I had all of these caladium corms ordered. So I took a chance, and then the heat came, and I mean I'm a northern climate, so and that's why I put a little bit more in there. If I was a southern climate, I probably could have done maybe 5 corms in there. And I get my corms from Florida Boys Caladiums online. And they have different sizes to pick from. You can get jumbo, you can get, then there's the next size down. I usually go about with the middle size. I did have to get the smaller size in the Lava Glow. And still amazing. still more Palace Purple Heuchera. I love that. We'll see how it looks next year. A lot of times the Heuchera, they do really good, and then all of a sudden it's like, that's it, and then you have to start over. Like a short-lived perennial. I've been keeping this well watered, looking a bit better. The Arborvitae Techni. I do not save or overwinter my caladium corms. I've tried it one year, and then I got some to work, but I ended up having them kind of dry out a bit, so it was a lot smaller. So I will always start with new corms. I don't have a good area to store it, because everywhere in my house and garage is around 65 to up for temp. More Palace Purple Heuchera. Look at this cute little hosta here. I know it's a mouse ears of one of them. The Alchemilla mollis of this I had split from a plant, was it last year or the year before? And it's doing okay, not the best. This one is probably better out of all of them. I don't know if I'm going to keep that one here. I'm thinking I might go with a Brunnera, kind of. I think it'll just, I don't know, glow a little bit more, brighten it up. But this host over here is Remember Me. Anywhere where you see holes, that was from hail damage. A few nights ago, the sirens went off in my town. There were 80-mile-an-hour winds. Alright, I'm just going to go this way because there's a vehicle coming. And this host is beautiful. I wish I knew the name. I love that variegation in it. And this was just one of my Heucheras hybrids that I started from seed. It's nothing amazing. I might move that, but the foliage on it was huge. So I had to. This garden needs a lot of work, which I'll get there at some point. Some in substance flowers are beautiful. I mean, look at that. I did trim up some of them, or deadhead, but the bees do love it. I think these flowers are pretty nice. They're not so gangly. If I haven't said it before, this area is just so well draining. It's hard to keep this watered. So these hydrangeas here, I think they're the Invincible Mini Mulvet. They have filled out very nicely considering how big they were when I planted them last year, and all of the new growth came from at the base and not on any of the old wood. Look good. I love the color, but I've been having to water those a lot. The Tiarella is doing good too. I can kind of tell when it's time because everything in this area is just wilting. The Autumn Frost Hosta here, I probably will move it. I put it there just for a pop of color because it's very green in here, but I just feel that that one might do better right in here. Eventually, I am just going to widen this garden out to come here, not in a straight line, but just come out a little bit and figure out what I want to do with the Lamium. Solomon Seal has looked tough this year. Last year, you wouldn't even think that the drought did anything to it, but I'm seeing a lot of effects from the drought last year on the plants this year. It's a trooper. It'll pull through. You can see some of my hostas are doing that. I've been kind of cutting off a little bit, not a whole lot. I found some rocks in here. This used to be its own little garden in this area, and then I just connected this one with that one. And this used to be lined with rocks. rainbows and hosta. This never throws a fit. I mean, you've got this one right here, and then this is Blue Angel, and crazy. And this too, I was thinking at some point, maybe just widen it a little bit so it comes. That's for next year though. As of right now for my trees, I've had a lot of companies come in, giving me different estimates of what to do with the trees. I'm still on the fence. Some are saying take them down, and others are saying just limb them up, make them more manageable. And so I'm not sure, but it's going to be happening in fall, so I'll have to make a decision. I don't want to lose them. Curly Fries Hosta finally flowering. Love it. That's one thing I've noticed with the hostas this year is less flowers. And I know it's just because they've been stressed a little bit. Look how tall this is. But look how everything is just perked up with that rain. I'm hearing voices. So I think there's some project going on the street above. I've been trying to keep the painted ferns, Japanese painted ferns, Crescent Surf, watered. There's one that's looking really good. That one has been kind of struggling, especially. I just put this one here. I wanted some color in here for the time being. Silver Bouquet. Pulmonaria. I just love that one. And you can see with the hostas, with that rain, how now they're all standing up and they're just happy. I did dig out the Ostrich Ferns and I went with Curly Fries Hosta here. This gets huge. And I just think that color in here amongst all the green will look really good. I wasn't liking the Ostrich Ferns here, and I just, for the second year, looking very tough. I'm tired of babying plants that should be tougher than that, and I mean, I still have them. I'm not getting rid of them, but that might not be the best spot for it. But look at this poor hosta. All in here. Thinking that's not just hail, something has to be. You can see this one I've been keeping watered a little bit more. Definitely much better looking. I think I'll be moving that one because it's just too close to the European ginger there. My feet are getting wet. Love it. Because you know the sum and substance will get pretty big in here. I did remove the Blue Dwarf Arctic Willow. And then I went with this. I sunk in a huge nursery pot. It didn't come in this. But it's probably about 2 feet wide. No, we'll go 18 inches. And about that in depth. And this is a Steghorn Sumac. And I think I'm going to like this a lot better. I like how it just... I'm thinking it's someone behind me, but I did sink a pot because I just worry about it running all over and, what do they call it, colonize. I'm hoping this prevents it. I don't know. But I love that. I love the fact that it's going to give me some fall color too. It can take sun or shade. Next year I will mulch, so I'll mulch enough where it will cover the pot there, and also hopefully the Brunner will get big enough and they'll cover that, but I'm okay with that for the time being. mean, on that note, look at how beautiful these look. It's been so nice using my rain barrel water. And then I put some buckets out too to collect the rainwater. The goat's beard is glorious. I love the spent flower heads on it. I was reading up on this plant, and I did not realize that there was a male and a female. And you can tell a difference because the male flowers are showier than the female. So, which makes sense because I have some goat's beard in the back in containers that were a little more fuller. So that's kind of cool. I have to get over here, trim up all of these. And then this hooker down here, still just pushing out blooms, which I think is amazing. I love it. The Ajuga is loving its life and must like it to dry, and it's just kind of coming out. Look, I love that. I know it's going to go in the grass, but that's okay. I don't know what to do about this azalea. I think it looks like crud, and I'm not impressed with it. I know it's just been on the struggle bus, and I struggle with them too. I don't know. Let's see here. Because I look at I don't feel that the Ajuga is all that invasive for me to be quite so worried about it, where it's competing with stuff. I think it's kind of a nice ground cover. I've been working back here, trying to clean this area up. I'm thinking about extending the garden bed out this way a little bit, just to kind of, make the pine tree part of the landscape here. But it's been so dry, so I had to stop burning, so now it's nice and wet, so I can burn all of this. It is a humid morning, though. It's like 8 o'clock, and you can hear the cicadas. I think I'm going to like that little tree there. It is far enough away from the house, it doesn't look it, but it is about 9 feet from the center to here, so it should have that whole area to fill in. I know how invasive sumac can get, so I'm taking that chance. This is the one I wanted to show you. So when I've been watering this Sambucus, it's the Lummy lace elderberry, I've been kind of giving this some water too, and look at the height that this has gotten, and look how beautiful this one looks with the little, I don't know, crest, turfs, whatever you want. So I'm really liking that. It's supposed to get 20 to 22 inches tall. I'm loving it. So that's why it's like, it's probably the best looking one out of all of them. Because when we're dry, the ferns lay flat to the ground. This is the first year I've noticed this too, so yeah. I will say the butterflies have been out in full force. It's been so fun to watch. Some of these are ready to get deadheaded. These have finally gone over. The golden tiara, I love the blooms on them just because they're a little bit shorter. And I just added some color to this area, although it's doing really good. And just a cute little hosta. And then the Pagoda Dogwood. Can you see? I'm surprised I have a berry on there. The birds love this. Golden shadows. It was drooping for a long time. I felt bad, and then finally when we got that rain, it just perked up and looks amazing right now. I've got some work I want to do in this garden. I'm debating about these astilbes. They've never done fantastic there, and I know we've had some trying years. And then here too, so I do have some other plants that I'm thinking about putting there. I also have some of my containers that I have heuchera in that I have to find a home for them at the end of the season. So back here I had the giant fleece flower in this entire area. And I went with a tiny wine line bark because I love that purple foliage, and I think it's just going to look so much better here along with the, and I can see the dogwood now. It's like I'm not just seeing giant fleece, but oh, that plant got the better of me. My low back was killing me by the time I was done digging that out. I was going to try and save it, but after the turtle head, it's got some buds forming, and this is a late blooming plant, so if you want late season color, this is the one to go with. It does kind of take over, and I love it because it's just beautiful in structure. Love it. And this is a Rainbows and Hosta at its full maturity. Look at how big that hail. Look at that color there. Just gonna slowly go this way. So everything's looking good over here. The one thing with the dry weather, I haven't had to do a lot of weeding. The only thing I have been doing is a lot of my trees send up a lot of shoots, so I've been controlling that. I have this sitting here, they're wee white hydrangeas. I'm going to probably be putting it here, but this looks so good right now, and that's just an annual. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do in this area, but I'm loving the purples and the creams and whites and greens, so I'm kind of thinking about that color scheme. Ooh, look. It's blooming, and I actually can film it. The Tahitian bridal veil. Look how beautiful that looks. Oh. Look at that. It's probably not picking up on camera. It's so much prettier in person, but oh. Finally, every time I filmed, I felt like it was never blooming for you. See, not much going on in this garden here. Sedum, with all the rain we had, is still standing upright, which is awesome. And then this hydrangea in here is called Little Hottie. I do have to go manage the Sabaria sorbifolia because where you see that little pink there, that is new growth. And that runs all over. I have to just be careful. I wanted to show you. Look at this daylily, so pretty. This one has been struggling a bit this year. This is one of my favorites. I don't know the name of it, but look at. And then this one over here is just absolutely gorgeous. I didn't plan for all these colors. I tend to just plant and then go, oh shoot, that color doesn't look good. But the fact that I have this color with that really light yellow to cream, and then that's a little bit of a blush. But even this paprika, also easy rose. All these colors just play so nicely together, if I say so myself. I just want to go to the back of the garden real quick, just show you what I've been working on. I do have self-seeded Verbena bonariensis that I'm leaving. It might look a little bit weedy, but the butterflies are loving it, so I didn't plant that. So I'm just letting nature do what it does. And also, look, I never plant petunias. So self-seeded from somewhere, and look, it's loving its life. So I left it. Yeah, beans are doing great. Cucumbers, I think I picked over 200 cucumbers. I have some tomatoes. This is what I've been working with over here. Giant fleece flower, and then all the tree root shoots in here, which I got from underneath my pine tree. These are, but I wanted to, I can. Have it in my, this is, I can, I'm trying to show you the roots of the giant, that's the root of the giant fleece flower, and that's a tiny little piece. And it's filling this entire bag of, well, dog food. Yeah, that's all roots in there. That's why I'm like, nope, I'm not. Plus, I kind of mangle it a little bit trying to get it out. Clematis, a little bit right here. Pink mink is still doing pretty good up top. So, and then this is where I'm extending this bed here. I had taken some of the rocks that was in here, so I'm still debating if I want to extend it a little bit more coming out. So yeah, when you think that the giant fleece flower took up this whole, and I dug all of that. I had to move everything. And that's how far the roots extended on that beast. But you can't see the tiny white nine bark now because it's blending in with my soil. But at some point I'll mulch. And then I'll get big enough, and then I'll stand out against the green. And then I went with another tiny vine back here. I think just pulling that purple over. This is a shrub that I saved from my garden. This is a Clethra ulnifolia, a summer sweet, and doing so much better. So I just have in place right now. I'm not going to do a whole lot of planting. And then I extended this back here. And then this is the dwarf blue, or I always forget which way that goes. So I did save it. I'm hoping that it can rebound over here, getting a little more sun. Let's see, nope. And just a few blooms left of the honeysuckle. That area. This late in the season, my sun situation really changes. So it's just kind of working with what I have, knowing that some things aren't going to look the best this time. You can see these flower heads of this goat spirit are a little different. So I'm thinking about moving these come fall. A lot of the hostas and perennials I have in containers probably will not overwinter in the container, so I'm trying to figure out where I want to plant them, and if I want to just try and see if I can get them to overwinter. The zinnias are doing okay, nothing fantastic. I haven't been watering this area. I need to come in and deadhead. The delphiniums just get so full of water and they lay down. They look pretty good. All of my blooms up here with the cup and saucer vines, I mean, and they are in sun up there, so it looks really neat. See if I can go around and get a better picture. Here's one of the cream. I like the cream, but they're hard to see. Oops. Definitely unique. Did you see the tiger swallowtail? Or yellow swallowtail, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it loves the verbena. And yeah, this is hummingbird coral nymph salvia. Of course, the hummingbirds love it. More self-seeded verbena. And this garden I've been pulling a lot from. It's just, yeah, I probably can. I'm not sure if this is going to be one of my last tours. The garden is not going to look better than this at this point. So, yep, it's going to be a little lengthy, so hopefully you have a beverage of your choice. Sitting back, relaxing. Can you see that? It's kind of blurry. Self-seeded cleome, which has not skipped a beat in the dry weather we've been having. Self-seeded. I'm tripping on everything over here. Look, this was self-seeded too. And look how robust that plant is. So I left it. This hydrangea, I think it's a quick-fire fab. Yeah. It's just so full of rain. So that's okay. I mean, they're not really sturdy, but I planted it late in the season last year, so we'll see how that does. I'm just going to quick show you this. This is one of my Delphiniums, a taller variety. It's just beautiful. I'm hoping next year with mature plants that the stalks will be a little sturdier. I do have a stake here, but you can just see how it's not tall enough, so I have to figure something. Look at that. Really been loving the Delphiniums. Then I'm kind of debating about, I'm looking at my garden going, where I don't have a lot of color at this time and where I do have a lot of color, if I want to change things out, or, so I'm not sure. But I think as gardeners we all do that. This is Nosferatu daylily. It's just prolific. I mean, it's amazing. I love that color. Unfortunately, my lupin that I had started from seed, when I came out here, I had it staked up, but then the bloom just bent over from the rain we had. None of these plants are used to that water pressure on top. Self-seeded, left it. So I deadheaded it, and that's okay. Just surprised I got a bloom this year. So you can see this is shaded out here. It does get sun at some point. I would say right now it's probably not getting more than 6 hours. And then this area would normally be in full sun at this time, and it's not. But these plants are loving it. Or what can I say? That's just beautiful. Thank goodness for the Caladiums and the Coleus. So over here, look at the foxgloves. Oh, and the poor Delphiniums, look. Oop, bent over. Not that one, but I love those two colors together. And this is a Dalmatian hybrid peach foxglove. But look at this bloom on here. Yeah, a bit wonky. That one's pretty though. Oh, I did want to show you. I'm sorry. I know this is going to get long. I know I'm apologizing, but a lot of people don't like long videos. I do, because usually when I see a long video, I'm like, yep, I'm going to go sit back and watch someone else's all their hard work. Look, this is where I had a foxglove self-seed. Is that not weird? The only one that self-seeded from last year. Yeah, and that was crazy. I'm like, what is that? Alright, now I have to get back out. So yeah, so also I'm kind of looking in this garden. I was like, I don't have a whole lot of color going on right now. I did end up getting rid of the Stachys officinalis. Just put on the curb for free. I was thinking about moving this bee balm here. It's a rosy or balmy rose. But it's got powdery mildew, and I like to find varieties that are a little more resistant to that. So, and it's just been a trying season, but I don't know yet. So there's a lot, and I know I have an Apita back here. I'm thinking maybe I should just move that here, so it just flows a little bit better. This is where, I don't know if you guys do that too. You can just kind of stand back, look at your gardens, and go, the white one's Veronica. I'm okay with this. I love how it just kind of keeps blooming at the top there. The bees love it. It's hard to get back there right now to trim it up, along with the yarrow that has flopped. But look at these roses. I love that. I did fertilize them, but I haven't been on top of watering them. None of this. And then on this Italian ice down here is putting out some more buds. So happy to see. This is Firelight Tidbit. I love this here. Just when I look down from my kitchen window, I just really see this area here and I love it. Like I said, I can't get back to trim up the yarrow. I might not like it now, but I really do like it in that later spring or early summer. And I don't know what else I would put there because right now it's such a tiny area when everything grows in. But I love plants that when they're done blooming, that the foliage still looks nice. Look how big, it's huge. I would say, look how it has come out and taken over the lawn. I would say it's probably about 5 feet from here to here, the lamb's ear. So, yeah, I need to get in there. These must have just self-seeded from the one in back, the garden phlox. I encourage you to plant the phlox because the scent is amazing. Last night I was sitting out here and it was so lovely. But then look at all of my ornamental alliums coming up. These are Millennium. I planted them last year late in the season. And I had ordered these alliums from Gilbert H. Wild. I ordered Millennium, but I think sometimes when they run out of a certain kind, they substitute. Because they don't, even the foliage looks different. This is very green, and this is a little more blue. But that's okay. Look at how this is going to look in probably about a week to 2 weeks. And then another Millennium allium back here. So they're a little shorter, a little greener. I think this is going to look amazing with that purple color. And then the Coneflower back here, I don't know the variety. I'm loving it this year. It lasts a long time, which I love. And look at this foxglove I started from seed. This is a Dalmatian hybrid rose. I like the peach, but the rose is stunning. Look at that. Took a long time for it to bloom, but it was worth the wait. Amazing. I love this area. And then along with the sightseeing mixture, the Veronica. This one's still blooming. I'll get back there. So like this bee balm right here, I forget the variety. But there's no powdery mildew on this one. And the other one, so that's why it's kind of, I'm debating. I like the salvias, but I just think they look messy when they're done. And it's just offering a little bit of color here. So this is where it's like, I just kind of stand back and assess my gardens. Let's see. Oh, looks like I forgot my cucumbers last night that I picked. This container is huge. I just love this one. One of my favorites. But yep, the Tahitian Bridal veil is blooming in there. Lime zinger elephant ear is just huge. Love that. You know how I feel about the Caladiums, but the one thing is I think 3 years ago is when I kind of started with elephant ears and Caladiums, and it's just because there's a channel I watch, Tropical Plant Party, that got me interested in them, and I'm so happy. So it's just, whoop, okay, that went on me. But yeah, I love them. But I don't think I'm going to try and overwinter these. They're just so prone to bug issues. But coffee cups is amazing. I know these stalks in here are just, what can I say, wow. But yeah, tropical plant, I love watching that channel. It's so different from my gardening, so that's why I like it. And then also, I love all of his pets. It's just amazing. But look at that one. So we do have cooler temps coming. I would say high 80s, no, low 80s, high 70s. The nights are still in the 60s. At some point, the caladiums are going to start looking a bit because they do like it warm. But considering how much of a show I've been getting from them, I'm okay. Okay. This, some of you might think it looks like a weed, but the pollinators absolutely love this. And then, like I said, the scent from the garden phlox, the tall garden phlox, is amazing. And just this whole combination here. And, I mean, I'm going to get more buds on that rose. But this is David. And it's just gorgeous. Oops, I got to be careful. I think that was a grasshopper. And the grasses, I think, this year are just standing upright. Just due because this garden is packed full of color. Not color, plants. I've got some color going on. And then the other day I came out here, and this is Buddleia. I grew this from seed this year, a butterfly bush. It was supposed to be a mixture of color. It looks like purple just kind of is the strongest color. But the swallowtails, it was covered. Like, just gorgeous. I love it. I couldn't stop, just watch it. The fact that I started that seed this year and it bloomed, amazing. I'm sorry, and I like the Buddleia butterfly bush tall. I've seen shorter. I can't grow it in my zone. It's like from a zone 5 up, if not a 6. So it's not going to come back for me, but it's putting on a show this year, so oh well. Treat it like an annual. But yeah, I like the taller variety and just think it looks more natural. The Gara, what can I say? It's just looks like fireworks in this garden. Kind of hard to see on film though, in the bright sun right now. Look at the hips. I probably should have deadheaded this, but look at that on this rose. You know what? That's really neat too. And then my bloomering lilac is got a few more blooms happening. Actually, a lot more. I think I've probably got some there, and then up top, which is also bringing in more butterflies. Oh, I was just going to show you too. This is where I have the Ostrich Ferns. Just kind of like my... because I don't want to get rid of them yet. I still have to think. But there's a new frond coming down there. I love this Asarina Vine. Hummingbirds love it too. It's just probably one of my favorite vines this year. I grew from seed. And I mean, the foliage is gorgeous. The blooms are awesome. I think if it was in a full sun location, it would be magnificent. Hydrangeas are looking amazing. This is Little Lime. For some reason though, this one always gets floppy for me. This one does. I mean, and the stems are sturdy enough, but when you think there's this one stem is accommodating this, all of these, you can see why. And this one is still upright. I was concerned with that. It was a heavy, heavy rain. Looking great. Love, it's taken a long time to see some new growth on my lilac, so happy to see that. love this one. It just, so do the pollinators, so I have to be careful. Starting to turn a little bit pink, but if I'm going to be honest with you, I love that white cream look. I do like the pink, but I do like how pristine this looks. I mean, this one has probably got 500 buds on it. It's probably about 7 feet tall, and it's just loaded. Or 500 blooms. They're blooming out, that's for sure. Maybe I can get to the back without getting my neighbors on film. But yeah, these 3 hydrangeas at least are probably 7 to 8 feet tall. I'm loving it. I didn't trim on them a lot this year. I'm kind of glad I didn't, because this is the first year that they haven't flopped. So I'm very impressed. And over here, this too was planted late in the season last year. This is Limelight Prime, loving it. And I love that it's a little bit later than the other ones, but just gorgeous. Look, my hardy hibiscus. It's going to be opening up here. The blooms only last for a day, so I'm hoping that maybe, I know I said I might not be doing another tour this year, but we'll see. Just depending what I have time for. I've been keeping that well watered and fertilized because I don't want that dropping any of the buds. Look, this is my perennial mum. It's still blooming. And look, it's loaded in buds. So I'm thinking it'll be blooming right into fall. And then over here, this is just Limelight. So loving it. Just, I've been keeping this well watered. This is a really well draining area. Probably the fullest amount of sun that I have in my area, along with this. Yes, this is the north side of my house, but it gets the most sun. So I'm just gonna look at this one from behind. I'm doing this. There we go. Normally I don't like to walk in my gardens if I can help it, especially after a rain. But that soil is rock hard. I love this area. That castor oil bean is magnificent. And my climbing rose, look how much growth that's put on. I have to get up there and figure out how to tie that in, or at least trim some of it up. I've got a cane going that way. Lots of buds happening, flowers, love it. I was smelling this last night too, so it wasn't just the phlox. And then the buddleia, the butterfly bush, has a beautiful scent to it too. I love this view right here. I like just the different textures and the types of plants I have going on with the foliage and just the growth. Say the alliums. It's all, I'm just really loving it. I do have just an annual salvia in here because I have some columbine down here it's doing okay, but there's a bug that really likes it. So this is just kind of offering some color right now. What is this? Oh, that's right. I had a Spanish flag vine last year. That was in this area, so I'm guessing it's part of the morning glory family. I mean, So I'm sure that's it. That's not bindweed. I don't normally have an issue with that weed except for I think it hitched a ride with a plant in one of my front gardens. So just have to keep on top of that. Just love it. Alright, so hopefully you enjoyed, and bye for now.